Then they did like 5 sets.
Oh, the ears are tucked in. He's got the ears in on the hat. You see that?
No, I
Yeah,
didn't.
well, that was that time.
Yeah.
That was that time in our life.
That was that time. Remember?
You also, the backwards hat wasn't straight backwards. It's a little to the side.
Wait, the ears tucked in. I don't remember that.
Yeah, the ears tucked in. Yeah, that was so. Yeah. I remember when I first met Rich Piana, he had his ears tucked into his hat.
I never did that. I never did that.
See, his ears are tucked into his hat, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I realized it was kind of a California thing. Like, I realized I started meeting more guys that were like, you know, California style, you know. And they had their hat.
Well, you walk faster with less wind resistance.
It's the first time I've ever noticed this in my life, or I've never been aware of this.
You know?
Yeah. I know the real low. You know, pull the hat down real low. You mean business in the gym. You know, don't look at me. I have heavy weights to lift. That I know that look very well.
Yeah.
But you don't know the ear covers.
No. I'm guessing that's what I must have done wrong. You know,
that's when you couldn't hear the haters.
Welcome to It's Just Bodybuilding Reacts. Dusty, Scott, me. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and
ring the bell.
IamMutant.com, 20% off. Dusty Ron, Big Ron 20.
Dusty Ron.
Dusty 20, Big Ron 20. There you go. Dusty 20, Big Ron 20. Get your ISO surge, get your all in, and everyone should get on the gear. Jay Cutler, 2010, 5 days out. Look how big his face is.
Yeah.
It doesn't even look dieted, but he won the O. Like 5 days after this, he wins the O. First of all, look how huge he is.
Yeah, he was massive. This is at where was it? This said Las Vegas Athletic Club, huh?
Yeah, the LVAC. I've been to this LVAC. It actually had like an amazing amount of leg equipment. Have you ever trained at this one, Dusty? It was the best one by far. It had
I've trained at this one and then like the 80s one with the like neon signs all over the place and stuff too.
Yeah. I've been to that one.
The one on that freeway there, Parkway. Yeah, no, this is I think Rainbow, but this one's awesome. It's huge. Just getting the quads going, you know. I know he does some pretty heavy shit here being 5 days out. I just can't get over his face. It doesn't look drawn in at all.
No, I wouldn't guess that he was about to get on stage if you were to look at this right now, let alone win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember remember when we talked to Jay, didn't he say like he was like 290 like days out from the Olympia a few times and he would come down to like 270 on stage?
No kidding.
So like it just makes me wonder how much water is he pulling, you know?
Yeah.
Based on what you said, 20 pounds.
Yeah.
The math is easy, Ron.
Call. You didn't want you to be exact. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You know?
You know what's crazy about this video, first off, is the fact that he's there during the day, unless they film that at a different time. Because anytime back in the day, when Todd used to go film him, he would train in the middle of the night half the time. And he'd be like, all right, Todd, meet me at the gym at like 10 p.m. And around like 9 o'clock, he's like, actually, I'm going to eat another meal. So why don't you meet me at midnight?
Oh, God.
And one time they ended up going to the gym at like 1:30 in the morning is when they started.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know he went through that phase when you watch Rip to Shreds. He's doing cardio at 2 in the morning. He's like getting up and going to the gym and doing cardio at 2 in the morning. And he's like, yeah, no one else is doing it. That's why I'm doing it.
So I asked him about that. He came out to guest well, he wasn't guest posting, just like kind of like guest person, you know, at a few years back at one of the shows here in Michigan. And I was like, man, you know, what was up with that? And he said, you know why I did it? Because nobody else was doing it, and they would think I was doing something special. He was like, it would get in their heads that Jay's doing something that they're not doing, and it would, you know, it would basically get under their skin. He was playing like an Arnold mind game with them, you know?
Yeah.
Little did he know, just being better than them would have been enough.
Yeah. Still, got to play the mind games, you know, bodybuilding mind games.
Seeing him in a T-shirt is all the mind game I would need to.
Oh, no kidding, dude.
Look at him.
This is the best thing about bodybuilding in this era is you didn't like walk around showing off your muscle. You wore big baggy clothes. You wore big oversized shirt. You wore big sweats, and you just looked massive. You know, the bigger you could look in an oversized shirt, that was the impressive thing to do. You weren't like flexing in the gym and stuff.
No, and in fact, you didn't want to show like He's got, long pants. Like I still, like just that whole thing. He didn't want to show anything because it also, it's not ready yet. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah. I always looked at it as being like a statue, with like a cape over it, and you could see the shape of the statue from underneath, but it isn't until show day that you unveil it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And also too, man, like I just, constantly being distracted by how you look in the mirror and I mean, it can be motivating to see the cuts coming in and stuff like that. But a guy like Jay, he knows the cuts are there. He doesn't need them.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to see them in the gym. He's walking around his house. Jay's like shirtless at his house all the time. So he spends plenty of time without a shirt on. He doesn't need to do it at the gym.
I always felt like for me, it was a distraction because it wasn't that you were looking at how good you look. No matter how good you were, you're looking at how much work needs to be done. And as you get lean, you start thinking past the show, like, all right, man, I really got to bring these arms up. I mean, and I always felt like you needed to stay more present and not start thinking about the off season, 2-3 weeks out from your show. It's like, no, finish this job. So if I was ever seen in a tank top, it meant someone was filming. Because any other time it was long sleeves even.
I can see that.
I never, ever, ever wore tank tops unless it was like, super close to a show.
Week of the show's got the leg press just freaking loaded up.
5
I love
days
the
out.
Cybex leg press. That's my favorite leg press still.
That is a good leg press.
So everyone who's paranoid, like people are a little overly paranoid. I know I like to tell people train the legs about a week out from the show and then leave them alone. That's standard for me.
Yeah,
me too.
Standard bodybuilding practice. But here's Jay 5 days out from winning the O. Like he wins this year, He beats Phil and wins his 4th title. And he's training legs heavy, 5 days out. Just cranking reps. Bang, bang, bang. I wonder if he wrapped his knees like the whole prep, or if he just kind of wrapped them at the end, if they got like a little bit, if he felt like they just needed a bit of support or something.
A little extra safety. I wonder too. This is before we got the modern Jay, who's like super talkative and a charismatic person. This is the Jay that didn't talk very much, and he was, very mundane sounding and everything. He had a job at the time, right? He was focused.
Yeah. Very focused.
I always thought that was impressive though, like, because obviously I built my following off of YouTube back in the day. And I found that the times that were best to film was during prep. And that's the time you don't want to. Yeah. Because you do want to just go in and train. And then I look at a guy like him and I mean, trust me, he don't want them there during this.
Yeah.
But he wants to make money. So he gets it. You know what I mean? So I always thought that was really impressive, knowing how much above me he was on every single level. And he was still like, nope, the smart thing to do is have them here filming.
Documenting.
Yeah. I still remember one of the craziest, no, not crazy, but one of the coolest things Jay ever said to me was I asked him, I said, hey, in 2013, you remember the comeback he did, the comeback show?
Oh yeah.
For those of you,
of course.
For those of you that don't, he lost the title to Phil Heath. I should say he handed him the title in the most amazing transition of power in bodybuilding history with that speech he gave. And Phil Heath became champion in 2011. Jay took 2012 off, had his bicep fixed, and came back in 2013 and placed 6th. And I saw Jay at a guest appearance and a seminar right after the 6th place finish, and I said, what was this prep like? Like, was there a lot of pressure on you to, like, the pressure must have been amazing. And he goes, oh, I knew I wasn't going to win. He goes, I knew from the start, because he was hyping up that he was going to win, like he was really putting it out there. And he goes, oh no, I knew I wasn't going to win. He goes, I started my prep like really small, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to get the weight up in time. And I knew that it was just going to be like my farewell show. And so I knew Phil would win, but I knew I would sell more t-shirts than him.
It's amazing.
And Jay goes, and I sold more shirts than everybody.
Hell yeah.
Well, he used to, for those who weren't around then, at the Meet the Olympians, which they still do, they used to do the show at the Orleans, and they had like a where you walked into the upstairs of the arena, or whatever you want to call it. Everyone was kind of lined up, and then down the hallway to the right-hand side, it went down a hall where all the athletes were, and they had like a table with their pictures.
Yeah.
Jay had about 5 tables out, and then a black, like one of those metal screen things of things hanging with all the t-shirt options. And at the time, Carrie used to stand there with a bank bag full of cash. I bet you Jay pulled in $20K that night. I mean, line down the hallway, and he was just printing money over there.
Yeah, he had the Mr. O stuff. He had all the Mr. O stuff, and then he had the Swole Monkey.
Yep,
the Swole Monkey stuff. And yeah, man, those are the days, man. I ordered like a dozen shirts from his website back in the day when he was filling orders out of his garage.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. He had one guy that worked for him that came over and did all that work. I can't remember his name. But he had a guy that was a warehouse manager. The warehouse
wasn't it Hector for a while? Can't remember.
Yeah, that's right.
A couple guys. You know,
that was Hector because you go Hector, you yell across the house.
I remember he told me once that he was doing about 3,000 shirts a month out of his garage.
No kidding. Jeez.
I remember just being like, "What?"
I'll tell you, having done t-shirts for the channel before, by the way, we've got shirts on the way. We got to talk about that. We'll have to talk about it on the show. But I can tell you, I had printed off a bunch of old bodybuilding nerds and advices shirts, and just trying to ship 30, 40, 50 of them, man, it is a lot of work. I couldn't imagine doing that plus being Jay on top of it,
Yeah. And remember Hani was like training him in the gym a little bit back then for that last O. That's funny. Forgot about that.
I still feel like some of that was marketing as well. He didn't need a trainer.
Of course.
I always thought that was such a genius thing. Like when Hani was FST7 with Phil and Jay, I'm like, yeah, because they definitely both need to get better. I mean,
yeah.
And that's going to be what does it.
It was the FST7.
I'm proud of myself.
I still remember those. I had one of those giant Muscle Tech shirts.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a giant one. I used to wear it on yeah. Mine was that shirt, but it was black.
Yeah. I had that exact same shirt too.
Probably a 4X. Probably the same one I had. At least it hung down almost to my knees on leg day. Beautiful. It's like I had a dress on. I could have trained with no pants and people would have just thought I had tights on underneath.
Yeah.
Ron was tempted. He was tempted.
I remember Jay. One thing I always remember about Jay is there's like a dozen times I saw Jay and he had red pants on.
Yeah.
Right.
And I just remember, like, Dusty will attest, I've got a pair of red Jordan pants. I only wear them at expos.
Yep.
Just too bright. They're just too much for me.
Really?
I don't want to go around town. I don't want to go for lunch with red pants on. I don't want to it's just.
You don't want to be the guy in the red pants, huh?
Yeah, but I remember I used to see Jay all the time. And I'd be standing there talking to me. He's got red pants on. He's a champ. He can wear red pants.
I think you got to factor in though, when you are that large, that's not what the general public is not noticing. He has red pants on.
No, they don't see the color.
7 feet
There's a lot going on.
Yeah,
the guy's shirt looks like it's a car cover of a Camaro. Like they're not
right.
Yeah,
I'd be more questioning the bracelets that he's probably selling on his website for $50 a piece.
Yeah.
Jay was the ultimate marketing guy the whole time though. Everything was like, oh, okay, I can sell that. Okay, I'll do a bracelet. Those are light, they ship easily.
Take the sticker off his hat. See, he's got a brand new hat.
I saw that.
He's selling that hat still. He sells it for more money if it's got sweat on it.
Yeah,
that's where it started. It started with Jay Cutler, then it got to OnlyFans. I won't say in my trunks, but how about a used hat? That'll do.
Yeah. Trunks are limited edition VIP club.
How many sets is he doing here? We've got some massive front squats going on. This is not just a getting ready for the Olympia pump workout.
You know what I'm saying?
What do we got? 365 on there, right? Is that what that is?
Yeah, 3.5.
I always used to love that people would say well, Jay never trained that heavy. I'm like,
yeah.
I've seen Jay train in person many times. What are you talking about? 405 on the incline was normal. I don't know where that came from. That they're like, oh, Jay never trained heavy.
Jay squatted 600. Jay says he squatted 600 when he was 20.
Huh.
He had
no,
that's old school gym squat where you back out of a rack,
right?
You know what I mean?
With a headband on.
That's his local fitness golds,
right?
With a sloppy bar,
Yeah, it's
exactly.
probably half bent,
He's got a bar just bouncing around like a bamboo bar on his back with 600 pounds on it. Yeah, 20-year-old kid.
Bamboo bar.
You know the shitty bars. That
I just visualize it actually on the bamboo bar. I was like, that's amazing.
Tell me he's thank God he's done with those front squats. I mean, that was several sets of front squats.
Yeah, man.
But no, he's just going into, what is this, a V squat now?
Yeah, the hammer V squat. They load this up too. I think they load everything. Like pretty much everything just gets filled by the last set. You know, Jay kind of does a lot of sets of 10, you know, like 10, 10, 10, 10, and they just pyramid up, you know?
Yeah.
Heinz getting his money worth now. I'll touch your leg while you do it.
Making sure you're firing that quad, because if you don't fire quad, you know,
it's physically impossible for my quad to not fire while I do this, right?
Yeah.
Anyways,
If that quad doesn't fire, your body collapses underneath you.
These are simple facts. Oh man.
Yeah.
Good for Jay for keeping the straight face. So the one time I put my hand on Ron's leg like that in front of a camera, he got real awkward. We have a picture of that. We could use it for the cover of this.
We should.
It's our most famously used picture ever is one where Dusty's literally pranking me.
Yeah.
Just in time for the camera to snap. Get the reaction.
Like, does that look like the face of a guy who's got like shredded glutes?
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't guess that.
Strided from his knee to his hip.
He must be running he's got to be running like 20 IUs a GH.
Oh, God. Head's about to explode. Yeah, but then you remember when you would see Jay at the Meet the Athletes or at the expo during the weekend, and his face was just sunk.
Yeah, it would be
Skeletor
every time.
Nothing you've ever seen.
I wonder if that's just how his body worked, like just how the plumbing worked. Like just one tab of diazide, liter of water comes out of the head. He's ready.
Yeah.
Head.
Like a camel, but with his face, you know?
Yeah. That's where he stores it. That's where he stores it. Maybe it's just inflammation. Anyways.
It's cortisol. It's cortisol's high. Yeah.
Oh, all these facts are just coming out now. It's all clear.
It's funny that we can say diazide and like most of our audience is like, oh, I get that joke.
Yeah. I hate when a good joke gets ruined on the wrong audience. I'm like, damn it, that was solid. Wasted. Yeah, I do love the volume and like you said, completely stacked. And everything they did is like 5 sets.
Oh, the ears are tucked in. He's got the ears in on the hat. You see that?
No, I didn't.
Well, that was that time. Yeah. That was that time in our life.
That was that time. Remember?
He also the backwards hat wasn't straight backwards. It's a little to the side.
Wait, the ears tucked in. I don't remember that.
Yeah, the ears tucked in. Yeah, that was so. Yeah. I remember when I first met Rich Piana. He had his ears tucked into his hat.
I never did that. I never did that.
See, his ears are tucked into his hat, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I realized it was kind of a California thing. Like, I realized I started meeting more guys that were like, California style,
I never. Well, this is honestly the first time
wind resistance.
It's the first time I've ever noticed this in my life, or I've never been aware of this.
Yeah.
I know the real low. Pull the hat down real low. You mean business in the gym. Don't look at me. I have heavy weights to lift. That I know that look very well.
Yeah. But you don't know the ear covers.
No. I'm guessing that's what I must have done wrong.
That's when you couldn't hear the haters.
That was the mistake I made.
Yeah, you would have won the Olympia had you tucked your ears.
Or been in it. Been in it.
At least.
Like when a fighter jet sweeps the wings back, the wings sweep back on it for high speed,
I want that many people to stand around me for my sets, by the way.
And your camera guy. Don't forget Mitsuro's there too.
Anybody who didn't know who Jay was hated him during that day. Like this guy comes in with an entourage to train legs. Like, what the fuck?
Like, where's the reality crew, the reality TV crew on that group of guys,
Yeah.
We're just getting all this Jay stuff. I want to know what the other guys are talking about too. Are they pissed off?
Talking here?
J.O. and the money.
You say anything?
Oh yeah. He talks a lot between sets in this video.
So he's probably not eating carbs yet, I'm guessing.
I don't know how low Jay went.
Well, Jay ate carbs all the way in. Like he didn't
have to load.
I mean, it was low for him though.
Yeah,
You gotta remember, he would
yeah.
do 1,000 a day. So if you come down to 300, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a lot of 1,000 days. I know that.
I'm just wondering if he started that load yet at 5 days out or what.
Jesus.
That was good.
He looks humongous. He was humongous.
That was amazing.
Yeah, the baggy pant, baggy shirt, hat low, ears in.
I can't believe I learned something on this episode.
For the rest of the episode.
It's a good look. You look more serious now. Yeah.
It's very valid. Very valid. Right? I was never cool enough to say that. There's a lot of things that you like being someone like me. You're just not cool enough to do. You're like, that's cool. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red pants, for example.
The straight brim caps. I can't do those. They're just
too old. Too old.
I always feel bad when someone gives me a free hat. Like I got some really cool free hats.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't wear this.
Can you bend those brims?
No.
Well, you know how some of them aren't made to be like. Some of them can't. Like they just look weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can wear those backwards as your only option, but I've also aged almost completely out of backwards, like occasionally. But I'll slide around, I look in the mirror, and I'm like 42, and I slide it back.
when you put your hat on backwards for like rear delt flies or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I used to put my hat on backwards for rear delt flies or whatever exercise you're doing where you need your hat backwards, press downs. Yeah. And then I just leave it backwards. And it's just backwards until you run into a machine where you have to turn it forwards again. It's like a necessity rotation.
Yeah, you lean back into a cross or a pec deck, and you need to flip it back.
Yeah, but now I find, now that I'm the age I am, as soon as I'm done with that exercise, I got to turn it around. I don't do the backwards walk around. There's no more walking around with backwards hat on any. I just feel like it's a thing of the past for me.
I saw a thing on a sports page. I can't remember what it was, but it was like at a baseball game. And there was a guy in the crowd, and he's like this. Yeah. He's blocking the sun out. And the caption was, "Should we tell him?" I was like, it was so amazing. He's blocking the sun, and it just says, "Should we tell him?"
Yeah.
It's not to cover your neck, but anyways.
Now at my age now, I have two different levels of dressing up. I have the all black cap with nothing on it, or I have the Pitbull razor, so I just go without anything.
You go two options,
yeah. Those are my two options now. If I got to look, got to look good,
fancy,
yeah. If I got to try Dusty,
you know what I do that you should probably keep in mind as well, Ron. If you go out with Emily, no one's looking at you.
Don't worry about it.
That's what I do. We just go out. It ain't no one looking at me anyway, so I'm fine. No. It doesn't matter what I wear, don't wear. No one sees me.
Yeah, you're right. I'll keep that in mind for sure.
It's a really good play. It's like no one sees you. It's fine.
No. Okay, well, that was fun watching Jay Cutler train legs. I want to ask him about the water in the head. I want to get like a stage picture and compare it to that 5 days out.
Yeah.
Let's get him and Chris on, and we'll talk about it.
Oh, God, that would be great.
Okay, remember to like, share, subscribe, comment, and
ring the bell. You didn't even drag out my hand. That was weak.
No, I know. I mix it up a little bit. And remember, IamMutant.com, Dusty20, Big Ron 20, IamMutant.com. Get your ice search, get your all in, and everyone should get on the gear. And remember, everybody, it's just bodybuilding.